To select a brush in Photoshop, go to this tool, click and hold and select the brush tool. Now you will see the brush is not selected. Why? Because we have to select some layer before selecting the brush. So either we can select this existing layer or we can create a new layer and then click on this brush tool, hold and then click on brush tool. The shortcut to select a brush tool in Photoshop is B for bottle. The brush tool is selected. By default we have selected a round brush tool. Once the brush tool is selected, we can also change the color of the brush, like we have selected this light green color. Click OK. After selecting the color or selecting the foreground color, we can try this brush. So this is how the brush will work. And now we can change the size, the hardness of the brush and the rotation. Size of the brush can be changed by moving the slider to the left side or the slider to the right side. Moving the slider to the right side will increase the size of the brush, and moving the slider to the left side would decrease the size of the brush. To change its hardness now, which is 100%, let's see with 100% hardness how it works. See, the edges are hard. Now if we decrease its hardness to 0%, see how it works. See the difference between the edges. And the brush can be rotated like this or by holding this arrow and moving the cursor. Since it is a round brush, the effect will not happen or effect cannot be seen. See, when I rotate this, the angle is also changing here. We can also put our values here. Now there is a great trick with this brush tool. When we press the Alt key and right click of the mouse, we can move the cursor to the right side and see its size would increase. When we move the cursor to the left side, its size would decrease. Make sure you are pressing the Alt key and the right click of the mouse. When we move the cursor upward, the hardness would decrease. When we move the cursor downward, the hardness would increase. So there is certainly no need to go to the settings and making the size and hardness decrease or increase. Just press the Alt key, right click and left, right, up and down. Things will work. To change the opacity, just enter your values here. These three strips are with 100% opacity, and when we change it to 50%, see how our brush will work. Now you can see the change. Opacity is also called transparency. So this is with 50% transparency and these three lines are with 100% transparency. Flow is like release of the ink or release of the paint from the brush. We should change it only when we know how to use it. Now to go to the settings of the brush, we should navigate to window and go to brushes or brush settings. Click on brush settings. We can increase or decrease the size from here. We can rotate the brush from here. We can increase the hardness, decrease the hardness. And one new thing we can see here is spacing. See, when we increase the spacing, what happens. So this is the preview of how the brush will work when we increase the spacing. You can see. So there are big spaces between the dots. When we decrease the spacing, the flow would be smooth. So these were the few things to select a brush and change its properties or settings in Photoshop. So there are three ways to increase or decrease the size. First, by going here and moving the slider left or right, then opening bracket or closing bracket, or by pressing the Alt key, by pressing the right click and then moving the cursor to the right side or to the left side. So this is how it works. Thank you so much.